Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel Diaries of a Retiree. Today we're in the Winthorpe Road Community Garden. Let's take a tour. You can see it's a beautiful sunny day today in the Winthorpe Road Community Garden, and there's the person we're going to meet. And we're here with Sue. Hi Sue, how are you going?
I'm well, thank you.
Great, you founded this garden, Sue, right?
I did, yeah. It was one of my many retirement projects. That was 3 or 4 years ago. Having arrived back in the UK from living abroad and wanting to get involved in a community I didn't know.
So what did you do in your career before you moved into retirement?
Well, originally I was a primary school head teacher.
Right.
And working in a huge primary school in central London, a very deprived area. So it was very, very hard work and very long hours, including weekends and having to go in and out when the alarm went off, which was regularly. And Doug and I decided that we were working far too hard, that we weren't really interested in having the smart cars we had and the beautiful house we had, and that, you know, there was more to life. So we made a 5-year plan and we resigned.
Yes.
And bought a small yacht and set off on a journey.
Wow.
With no plan, which was really important to us.
Oh,
We had
fantastic.
no destination, we were just going to go and see what happened.
Great. And where did you end up on this yacht then?
Well, after 2 years of sailing around the Med, we bought a house in the south of Italy.
Nice.
So that was our base. And then from there, another whole load of adventures started.
Great.
So I continued my career, first teaching English, and then I started to work in other parts of the world. And my final job was as a project manager in Borneo, managing a very new initiative where we were employed by the Malaysian government. So they wanted teachers of English as an additional language to really get involved with their schools and live in local communities and understand, and then support teachers in teaching in a more child-centred rather than teacher-centred way. And so it's very much a community-based thing, and that probably is something that got you into community gardens, was it? I think I've always, even as a head teacher, you're really heavily entrenched in the community, where you have to be if you're going to be successful. You know, you have to work really hard with parents and the community and social services and the police. So I think that's always been part of me, really. Yeah. I'm a social person and I enjoy.
Yeah. So some people say, you know, retirement, if you've got a date and you just stop work, it's like falling off of a cliff.
Yeah.
So how did you manage that transition?
Well, I didn't think I'd retired the second time. I came back from a project in Borneo and we were awaiting to hear if the project was going to run again.
Yes.
So I was planning to go back because it was the happiest time of my life in Borneo. And it didn't. So then I thought I'll take a year off and get the house and the land in Italy, you know, back to where it should be. And then I had a dental problem that turned into a whole load of other problems. So that went on for a year. So I'd not worked for 2 years and then suddenly thought, okay, I'm 63 now. And
I'm enjoying this.
Do I really want to go back to work? So I didn't.
Great.
It's great.
Great. So the retirement sort of just happened by fortune.
Naturally.
And
so there wasn't that end stop, all the goodbyes. And after living on a small yacht, 11-metre yacht for 2 years, Doug and I had got over the worst crisis of being banged up together for 24 hours a day, which I know lots of my friends find really difficult. Yeah. You know, you've had busy working lives, you come home in the evenings and you chat, but when you're with each other 24 hours a day, that's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of things in retirement. It's about that personal relationship as well.
I think what helps us is that we've both got lots of interest and completely different interests to each other.
Yes.
But we're both doing a lot of things So in a way, we are out most of the day doing
Yeah.
separate things, and nothing's very different.
And in Italy, you've got community garden. I understand you've got an allotment. So in Italy, what sort of things were you growing? What's your favourite crops there?
We had just over an acre, and we had 64 olive trees, 60 something fruit and nut trees, and we grew fruit and vegetables as well.
Wow.
And we were there for, I think, in the house about 15 years. So when I came back to the UK
Yes.
and bought a house with a tiny garden, I immediately had to have an allotment. And for me, it's when I came back to the UK, I'd forgotten all about the UK weather patterns, because I was used to a Mediterranean weather pattern, and I'd forgotten that you can get frost at any time in the spring. So I made terrible mistakes to start with by sticking things out and then thinking, oh no, of course we're in the UK and you can't do that. But it's even in Borneo, I had a massive garden and grew things,
Yeah. Yeah.
dragon fruit and all sorts of things.
So you like that sort of being self-sufficient and also being active, I guess.
Yeah, and I think play is really important for older people. So I
Yeah.
go paddleboarding and kayaking, and it's about pushing each other in and messing about, as well as learning
Yeah.
new skills. And I know lots of people who don't have that in their lives. They stop work and they stay at home and they watch TV or read a book and potter about, but they don't go out and have fun and do silly things. And for me, that's really important.
Yeah. And finding new hobbies, would you say, Sue, is key?
Well, one of them.
So you've probably never paddleboarded before, had
No.
you?
But one of the main reasons for coming back from Italy to the UK was in the south of Italy, there's a very different attitude to older women.
Yes.
You know, you're idolised on one hand, but you're a nuisance on the other, and you are not expected to do anything physical. So I wanted to go kayaking and no, it's just not done. Even yoga, you have to go to the doctors every week for a checkup before you do a lesson, It was just, so that was one of the main drives for me to come back, where I could do all these things on my bucket list, like kayaking and paddleboarding and yoga and...
Wow.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about retiring? What would you suggest to them to consider?
Yeah, I've just been talking to my younger brother and sister about these things. I think if you're not financially secure, life is much, much more difficult. Do what you can to make sure that your life's going to be as comfortable financially as you possibly can. And then think about the things that most of us have had extremely busy working lives, perhaps brought up young families and didn't have time to do the things we wanted to do. So I've been steadily working through my bucket list. The only thing I've got left to do is see a puffin. So hopefully that will happen this year. And think about what you want to do and have fun.
Great.
A friend and I have been talking about writing a book about play for the over 60s. Get out there, do things. It doesn't matter if
Great. Fantastic.
you're not good at it. Get involved in a community that you haven't been involved with before.
Great. Well, thanks, Sue.
You're welcome.
I think that's some great advice from Sue. Get out there, try things, make a bucket list.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yep.
Thanks a lot,
Enjoy.
everybody, for tuning in to Diaries of a Retiree. See you in the next edition. Please subscribe and like this channel. Thanks, everyone.